Good morning, good Shavua Tov. Welcome to our Pre-Pesach workshop. Sorry, I'm starting a couple of minutes late. I apologize for that. Uncharacteristic of us. We're going to go through, as we always do, all of your Pesach shilas. We're going to walk through the kitchen. We're going to walk through the cleaning process. We're going to walk through the kashering process. We'll walk through whatever products you want to talk about and walk through. I'm far from an expert, but I will do my best to answer your questions, and if not, be able to get back to you and guide you to the best places to go. But I want to begin, as we often do, as we always do each year at this, by talking not yet about the details and the minutiae, not about the preparation, not about the work, but zooming out the lens to talk about this period of the year and what we're trying to do. Because unfortunately and sadly, I see too many people who are so fixated on the details and the work, which is enormous, and the preparation, which I don't want to minimize whatsoever, but do so at the expense of their own happiness, their own joy, their own simcha. And there's a huge mitzvah of simcha on Pesach. Like every yontav and every regal, we have to enter it bis simcha. So for a person to be so miserable, so sad, so anxious, so frustrated, so resentful of the incredibly high cost of preparing for Pesach, which is enormous. Somehow every time we think that matzah can't get more expensive, it does. The incredible high cost of preparing for Pesach, the incredible amount of time, energy, effort, and work it takes for preparing for Pesach. When you add that all up, it can be absolutely overwhelming. And what I want to suggest to you this year, I want to learn with you quickly, very quickly, because I know it's not why you're here, but I want to learn with you quickly a piece from the Nidvarna Rebbe of Yerushalayim, the Nidvarna Banya Rebbe of Yerushalayim, the Holy Tzaddik. And in his Noam HaShabbos, he writes about this time of year. He's not speaking specifically to Pesach preparations per se, but I would apply it to it. And he says the following. He says, Da v'hashesh b'kir b'cha, know and plant within yourself. Any mitzvah you're about to do, all depends on the effort, the preparation, the anticipation, the investment you make beforehand. If you want to feel elevated and enriched, if you want to feel transformed by the mitzvah, it could be the preparation for a mitzvah you're about to do, it can be for a holiday you're about to observe. Then it all is determined and comes down to the energy, the effort, the preparation that we put in before the mitzvah. That if a person is mindful and present, if a person is thoughtful, if a person is connecting to what they're doing and what they're working on and what they're preparing and what they're getting ready for, then they'll be positively impacted and transformed by it. What I'm trying to say to you is that all the cleaning and all the kashering and all the preparing for Pesach is not a necessary evil. It's not a concession. It's not just something that we have to go through. We wish we didn't, because if we want to arrive at the finish line, if we want to get to the destination, if we want to be at the promised land called Pesach, well, we have no choice. We've got to clean, we've got to kasher, we've got to prepare. What I'm saying is this year and every year, lean into the preparation and realize the hachana, that preparation, that work, that effort is itself the destination. The journey is the destination. What transforms us is the work that we do. Instead of doing it from a place of resentment and negativity and bitterness, the only thing that should be bitter on Pesach is the maror, not any of the people. The only thing bitter at the Seder table is the maror, not Chalila, any of the people. V'ramaz hadavar b'zeh, and says the Nidvarna Rebbe of Yerushalayim. A remez, an allusion to this, is that the word hachana, preparation, begematria, in numerical value, is the same as the word yisod. The foundation of anything you do is the preparation you put into it. If you prepare, it'll be magnificent and beautiful, and you'll be changed from it. And if you don't prepare with holiness and sanctity, if you prepare with resentment and bitterness and negativity, then that's going to be the foundation of your experience. What do you want your experience of Pesach to be? Joyful and happy and life-changing and positive and liberating and emancipating, or miserable and farbissina and bitter and angry and resentful? What do you want your children and grandchildren to see? The way that you skipped and you sang and you whistled your way to Pesach? The way that you love this time of year? Love it. We're anticipating Chodesh Aviv. It's the springtime. We're welcoming the new season and the freedom. We're going to liberate and free ourselves. We're searching for the external chametz and the internal chametz. We're doing the outer work of going through our homes, and simultaneously we're going through the inner work of searching our lives, and we love it and we live for it, and we're going to get the payoff of it when we arrive at the Seder table. Hachana is the same gematria as Yesod. Preparation is the same numerical value as foundation, because the foundation of the Pesach we're going to have is determined by the attitude and the preparation we bring to it. And that's true whether you're staying home. Certainly if you're staying home, and there's a lot of cleaning and prep that happens. And even the people who somehow, it's hard to imagine, but complain or are miserable or are bitter even about all the packing they have to do to go away to their exotic location, to go away to their place that's going to host them for Pesach. Can you believe how many outfits and how much luggage? And I heard that TSA is on strike and Elon Musk offered to pay everybody, but the lines are forever. And can you believe I'm going to have to travel and go? Will it be on time? It doesn't matter. It's somehow everyone finds a way to complain for Pesach. Whether you're staying home, whether you're going away, somehow everyone finds a way. Whether you're hosting or being hosted, everyone finds a way when nobody should be complaining. It's okay. It's difficult. We don't mean to minimize. We're validating. It's a lot of work. If anyone can validate, it's me. Because after, and it's not only women, but mostly women who put the work in for Pesach, rabbis answer a lot of shilas and write a lot of drashas and have a lot of work to do as well. But we decide what emotion, what mindfulness, what attitude we bring to it. Will our hachana be a yesod? Is our preparation the foundation of positivity and of joy and of love and of gratitude and of feeling so fortunate to have this incredible yontif called Pesach? Or are we going to walk in a way that our children and grandchildren will say, I want nothing to do with Pesach. All I remember is how miserable everybody was. They yelled and they barked orders to clean my room and clean more and help more and volunteer more. Everyone was angry and on edge. Everybody was miserable and critical. What is the environment and attitude? Are we searching only for the external chametz or the internal work as well? Hachana is gematria yesod. Hachana yesod l'chol davar. Uveprat chag ha-pesach shu arosh l'shar regalim. Erech gadol b'yosei yesh hachana. So my point is that everything we're going to go through today, the Pre-Pesach workshop, everything we're going to talk about, everything that we have to do from it, it's not all a concession. It's not a necessary evil. We're not just doing it because we have no choice if we want to get to Pesach. Lean into the hachana. Realize that this hachana, all this preparation is an avoda, that the journey is the destination, that this journey, the hachana is b'kedusha, is something very holy, and it's something that's very high. Hachana l'chol davar, he continues, and we're going to get into the workshop, I promise you in a moment. Yesod lahatzlacha, he nishmas ha-mitzvah. So whether Pesach Seder will be beautiful is not dictated and determined by, is the silver shined, polished, are the Divrei Torah prepped, did your kids, moras, make them beautiful artistic haggadahs? But the kedusha, the sanctity and the success of the Seder is determined by the attitude you bring to the preparation for Pesach. It's this, the hachana is the yesod. But more than just the yesod. Listen to what he says. That we all know in life and in living, the two most critical organs that determine life. In fact, the entire debate around what defines life. Is brain death? Is it cardiovascular? Is it brain death? What are the two most important organs? The head and the heart. They're chashuv miyoser. As long as the heart is beating, there's hope. It's the head and the heart. Listen to what he says. Moach leiv is gematria hachana. Hachana, preparing, has to be in the head and the heart. So gematria yisod, gematria moach, and leiv, gematria hachana. Shekol yisod shelcha b'chol hatzlachos and megashmis beruchnius tluya b'ataras hamoach v'halev. Hachana l'chag hu hazmana mehashamayim l'simchas hachag. This preparation, this journey, this time, this energy, this effort, don't do it with bitterness and sadness. Don't do it with misery and complaints. Don't do it feeling like a martyr and a victim. Do it with love and with excitement and with happiness and with joy. That's true for everything. It's true for the 9 months of gestation before the baby's born. It's true. All the preparation we do for the best things in life are investments that make the payoff that much sweeter. They make it that much better. They make it that much more meaningful. The more effort it takes, the more effort we put in, the greater the reward that we're going to reap and we're going to take out. I have a lot more to say about it, but it's not why you're here. So even though I'd much rather give an hour shir on Hachana LePesach, Beruchnius, but there's cleaning and kashering that has to get done, so we're going to get to that. But I wanted to introduce our conversation with that, because again, while we're going to get into minutia and details and ingredient lists and materials and kashering and cleaning, but all that has to be seen and experienced and approached in the context of how privileged we are. Wow, what a wonderful chametz. We're looking for the Yetzer Hara. We're looking much more for the chametz inside us than outside of us. And as concerned as we're going to be, as fanatical as we're going to be of looking for every crumb and moving major appliances and lifting heavy furniture, which you don't have to do, we'll talk about in a moment, but as fanatical as we're going to be in all of that, we should be twice as fanatical as looking in the chametz inside us. What do I need to get rid of inside me? Where am I feeding my ego? Where am I indulging in my attitude? What adjustment do I need? What do I have to search and get rid of in my life? What is the approach I have to have? As we're looking for the external chametz, let's look for the internal chametz, and through that, the hachana, gematria yesod, let us create an incredible foundation for the most magnificent, beautiful Pesach that we're going to experience, and let it be one that we transform ourselves, moach and leiv, gematria hachana, that a preparation that happens not only with our hands, the yadayim is not gematria hachana, but moach and leiv are. Let the preparation not only happen with our hands and down on our knees, let the preparation happen in our head and in our heart, through our mindfulness, through our attitude, and through our incredible emotional connection and approach. Okay. Shkoyach for indulging me. I appreciate it. You're very kind. You're very kind. So let's get started. I'm shocked anybody comes. I appreciate your attendance because I basically say the same thing every year. Most of it is the same. There aren't major changes this year, but I'm here to review it nonetheless, to reassure you, and to take any questions that you may have as we go through. Let's start with cleaning. So here I give my little polemic as I do every year and get in trouble as I do every year. Cleaning your house for Pesach shouldn't take more than a day. Maybe 2 days. Depends on the size of your house. Depends on how active and mobile your children or grandchildren are. But it shouldn't take more than a day or two. Never confuse spring cleaning with Pesach cleaning. The bitterness and the anger and the resentment that comes from spring cleaning, don't blame on God or the rabbis or your Jewishness or this holiday. Because what is demanded of us from the halacha of Pesach is nowhere near what people do, which is the fulfillment of spring cleaning. If you want to spring clean, then enjoy. Be gesund. No problem. Don't blame Torah. If you want to spring clean, do it far in advance of Pesach, or start on Motzei Pesach. But for Pesach, just keep the halacha. And if you observe what the halacha asks of you, then you won't be resentful, bitter, or miserable, because it frankly doesn't take that long. It's not that hard of an effort. It's not that hard of an effort. So, before we make Pesach easy, we have to understand what we're looking for. The Rambam in his introduction says there are 8 mitzvahs that apply to Pesach today, 3 positive commandments and 5 negative commandments. The 3 positive commandments are lahashbis, or we have to get rid of all the leaven. Le'achol matzah, we have a positive mitzvah to eat matzah. And l'sapar b'tzias mitzrayim, which is really the essence, to tell and to demonstrate the story of freedom and liberty, not only then, but also now, which is the topic of our Shabbos Haggadah, the drasha this coming Shabbos, how to free ourselves from the modern addictions of our times. We're going to talk about technology and gambling and alcohol and consumerism and materialism and all the addictions of our life, some that have a stigma and others that don't, but how through this time of year, Yitzias Mitzrayim, can we liberate ourselves from them? And when we get to the Seder, we're telling that story and we're having that experience. It's not something about the past, but it's about the present. The Jewish notion of time is not linear. We're not turning around and telling a story about something that happened so many years ago, but the fact that it happened years ago revealed that on this day, the 15th of Nisan, there is the possibility of freeing ourselves. Liberty, freedom, emancipation are energies that are present in time on the 15th of Nisan. That historical event called Yitzias Mitzrayim revealed to us and the world that period of time is pregnant with the possibility. So the effort of Pesach is not to commemorate. This isn't the Renaissance fair. We're not just dressing up and commemorating and reenacting something from a long time ago, but rather what happened a long time ago reveals for us today that we have the power to free and liberate ourselves from whatever is holding us back. Our meitzar, whatever is restricting and constricting, whatever is that narrow place, whatever we feel that the ceiling and the walls are closing in, whatever we feel in our lives is holding us, enslaving us, this is the time that we can liberate ourselves, and that's the story that we tell. Those are the 3 positive commandments. There are also 5 negative ones. Number 1, from chatzos you can't eat chametz. Number 2, all 7 days, today for us, 8 days you can't eat chametz. Number 3, not only can you not eat chametz proper, you're not even allowed to eat a mixture of tarovas, including chametz. Number 4, something called ba'yira'ah. You're not allowed to see chametz that you own. It doesn't apply to chametz that you don't own. Every year someone asks me, do I have to be careful which aisles I walk down at Publix? Am I not allowed to walk down the pasta aisle, the cereal aisle, the bread aisle? Ba'yira'ah only applies to chametz you own. And ba'yimatzah, chametz cannot be found. Chametz is unique. Chametz is the arch enemy. Chametz is a search and destroy. We are obsessed with eliminating chametz because chametz halachically is unique. And it is unique in 5 different ways. Number 1, there is a specific lav, a prohibition not only against eating chametz proper, but even against eating a mixture of chametz. Number 2, there are 2 isurim against even possessing chametz. I can't see it, I can't own it. Number 3, there's a positive commandment to destroy it. It means to say, I can't just arrive at the result. Let's say a person timed everything perfectly. I have yet to meet this person. But it timed everything perfectly that you ate all the chametz. So in Erev Pesach, you're clean of chametz. So there's nothing to burn. There's nothing to destroy. There's a specific Torah, leave some chametz over, because there is a mitzvah to destroy. What happens in a year, not this year, where Erev Pesach Shchalios b'Shabbos? How do you fulfill Tashbisu? By flushing it down the toilet. You can't burn it, then Erev Pesach is Shabbos. That's separate, that's not for this year. But this year we can. So we'll have available several big drums of fire. Come and burn your chametz. There's a third unusual, there's an asay to dispose of it. Number 4, it's aser bahana. Not only are we not allowed to own chametz, we're not allowed to eat chametz, we're not even allowed to benefit from chametz. You can't feed your pet chametz, because that's called benefiting from chametz, which we'll get to. And number 5, and this is the part that perhaps drives our greatest focus on eliminating the chametz, is the chametz is aser b'mashahu. When it comes to other prohibitions, of course, one is forbidden to consume it in any measure, but it really only is in a prohibition, a certain minimum measure. Chametz, even the tiniest mashu, any amount of chametz is prohibited. So what is chametz? And why are we trying to clean? What are we getting rid of? What are we looking for? The Rambam writes in Hilchos Chametz Matzah Parakeh that the chametz is made from 5 types of grain. And they are, anyone know what they are? Wheat, spelt, rye, oats, and barley. Shibon, shul, shul, soror, kusemis, and chita. The 5 types of grain, if they're ground into flour mixed with water and allowed to leaven or rise, then they become chametz. What is not chametz? Kitnios. What's kitnios? Kitnios cannot become chametz, even though there's a minhag not to eat it. It's a minhag that comes from the Middle Ages, Sefer Mitzvahs Ketana, Sefer Mitzvahs Gedolos. It was absorbed, this mitzvah was adopted in Ashkenazi lands, was not adopted by Sephardim, and it was one of 2 reasons. Either that which can be manipulated into flour, and you can use it to cook things that bake things that look like chametz. So if you do that, it could lead to eating actual chametz. That's reason number 1. Or reason number 2 is it has nothing to do with how you make it or what it looks like and what it could lead to. It's that they used to pack kitnios, legumes and beans were packed in sacks, and flour was added in order to make them bulky and weigh more. So if you use those beans, those legumes, you might come to use actual wheat flour. You might come to eat actual chametz. So for one of those 2 reasons, this practice, this chumrah, this stringency was adopted by Ashkenazim not to eat kitnios. Sephardim never adopted it, and Sephardim therefore don't practice it. But all agree, including Ashkenazim, that kitnios is not chametz. And because kitnios is not chametz, therefore, if a child requires kitnios, you're allowed to feed them kitnios. If kitnios fell in, we apply bittul, it's not aser b'mashahu. If somebody cooked kitnios on kalim and then clean them, so if an Ashkenazi is eating in a Sephardi home, they could eat off of their vessels, even though they can't eat actual food that has kitnios in it. If a person for medical reasons needs something that has a kitnios ingredient, we have many leniencies with kitnios because it's a later minhag that we adopted. It is not something which is chametz at all. So chametz is from the 5 grains, and flour from the 5 grains that mixed with water and remained without manipulation for 18 minutes is what became chametz. Chametz results instantly when these grains are exposed to hot or salted water. Chametz is aser b'mashu. It's aser b'mashu on Pesach. How do we get rid of chametz? So we have several methods that we employ. Because we are so focused, concerned with chametz, because it is unusual and unique in its place in halacha, we have several ways that we approach it and get rid of it. One is bittul. It'd be enough. And here there's a lot of lamdas at the beginning of Masech Pesachim. I'm skipping all of it. We're going to get to our walk through our house in a moment to clean for Pesach. One is you can resolve all chametz just by declaring that you are breaking up with it. Chametz is a problem in me, not a problem in you, but we have no future. I hereby declare that our relationship is over. I'm being mafkir. Any chametz in my possession is hefker, Afrika ara. It's all like dust of the earth. I relinquish all my ownership over you. We have no more relationship. And therefore, how could I violate the prohibition of owning chametz if I don't own it? So, simply said, midoraisa, biblically speaking, maybe it would suffice, it would work alone, to simply say on Erev Pesach, here's the cleaning for Pesach. You ready? Erev Pesach, all you have to do is say, chametz, our relationship's over. We're breaking up. I relinquish all my ownership over you. I have no relationship with you. And even though you might be all over my house, you're not mine. Shain, no longer Bayira Bayimatza. I'm done. Technically, I don't own it, and I no longer have a relationship. However, Chazal were very concerned. What will happen? You break off your relationship with chametz while it still remains all over your house. When you encounter a good piece of chametz on Pesach and you forget it's Pesach, you're going to come to eat it. You're going to see that donut. You're going to see that cracker. You're going to find that cookie, and you're going to forget it's chametz. You're going to end up eating it. So therefore, Chazal said you have to do something else called bedikas chametz. In addition to bittul chametz, in addition to relinquishing ownership, you also have to search and destroy. Why search and destroy also? Bittul alone, you might come to eat it. Bedika alone, you might not come to find everything. So therefore, for that which you didn't find, you declare that you relinquish ownership. It's no longer yours. We add a third method that's called mechiras chametz. We also sell chametz. Now, some people have the practice to sell real chametz, bread, pasta, cereal, flour. Others have a stringency to not sell real chametz, outright chametz, and only to sell things that have some ingredients or a mixture that contains chametz. How do you know whether something is real chametz or a mixture with chametz? If a person has that stringency, how do you know what applies? So in the OU guide, which is excellent, we have in our lobby, I highly recommend. Let me say this at the outset. We prepared here a list for you of all the resources you could turn to. And that's what I turn to. They are the OU guide, which is excellent, or the OU app or the OU website, the CRC guide, which is excellent. You can print it out, or its app or website, which are excellent. Star K Pesach guide, which is on the app or on the web, or is excellent. Incredible resources we have today that are searchable, that are clear. CRC did another amazing thing this year. My friend Rabbi Fishbane, they have a video series. So all the things that you read, but you're not exactly clear and you can't entirely picture and you're not sure exactly how to do it, every day they're putting out a new video in their video series of exactly how to kasher your kitchen and other questions about Pesach. And again, I highly recommend it. So in the OU guide, on page 43, they have a list. Chametz, when to peddle and when to purge. I wonder who works at the OU and comes up with these titles. Chametz, when to peddle and when to purge, which is if you don't sell chametz mamish, so how do you know whether it's chametz mamish or not? In the OU guide, they have a wonderful list. Flour, is a chametz gomer or not? Flour, whole wheat, flour, bleached flour, rye, flour spelt. Gefilte fish. Is gefilte fish chametz gomer or not? What do you think?
Yeah.
It lists gefilte fish as chametz gomer. Most gefilte fish has a flour binder. So a frozen gefilte fish in your freezer, if you sell real chametz, no problem. Just list your freezer on your sale form. If you don't sell real chametz, you better boil a bunch of gefilte fish quickly. You're running out of time. So here's a long list. Popcorn is not chametz gomer. Potato chips not chametz. Pickles are not chametz gomer. Rice Krispies are not chametz gomer, and so on and so forth. Scotch is chametz gomer. So I'll end this by saying many who have the minhag not to sell chametz gomer, real chametz, have an exception when it comes to their alcohol collection. How did that come to be historically? Not for now, but they have that. So there's a third method. So we do bittul. We relinquish any ownership. We declare, I have no relationship with you, chametz. Number two, we do bedika and biur. We search and we destroy. Why do we do both? Because just declaring ownerless, I might come to eat it. If I search and destroy, I might not find everything. So I need to relinquish my ownership. And I also sell so that I'm doing a little bit of everything. That's how concerned I am to get rid. Which now brings us to the practical part of cleaning our homes for Pesach. Are you ready? Here's the practical part of cleaning our homes. I have this all in a source sheet. If you want, I'm happy to send it to you. From the Psukim to the Rambam, Shulchan Aruch, Mechaber, Ramah, Rishonim. I could show it to you all. This is not Ephraim Goldberg Modern Invention, Tavshin Pei Vav. First of all, I've been giving this for many years, and it comes directly from the halacha itself. Are you ready? Here we go. First of all, before we get into it, we have to know that when you're going to search and destroy and look for the chametz all over your house, you cannot do it in a way that's going to compromise your simchas hachayim, your simchas hayantif. There is a mitzvah of simcha on yantif, and don't compromise it. Don't forfeit it. Don't give up on it, because that is the halacha that we all have. Shulchan Aruch writes, Siman Tov Kuf Chav Tes, Chayv Adam Liyos Sameach v'Tov Lev b'Moed, who v'Ishto u'Banav. Everyone in your home has to be happy in Pesach. Has to be happy, and that's true on Erev Pesach. In these days and weeks leading up to Pesach, be happier than ever. Put on music, a skip in your step. Do what you need to work on yourself. B'moach u'b'leiv, gematria hachana. Your head and your heart, get them in the right place, which is the same numerical value as hachana, to prepare, to be sameach v'tov leiv. Be happy and generous of spirit. Be happy. What a privilege we have. We're about to free ourselves. We're going to liberate ourselves. We're searching and getting rid of the worst parts of ourselves and in our homes. Oh, be happy. Writes the Mishnah Berurah, mitzvahs hasei min haTorah t'chsiv v'samachta b'chagecha v'noheges gam b'noshim. Mishnah Berurah goes out of his way to say, don't think it only applies to men and children. It applies to women as well. You fulfill it differently for all. Men, basar b'chalav, children with toys and candies, and women, jewelry, new dresses. Everyone should do something that will bring out their joy for Pesach, but we shouldn't compromise it. We must not compromise it for the way we get ready for Pesach, all the preparation that we do. So what is it that we're looking for? What is the practical halacha in our preparation? So the definition of chametz, and what is the definition of in our possession, and what is the definition of seek it out? So the first of all, Shulchan Aruch writes in Siman Taf Lamed Gimel, Shulchan Aruch writes the following. What is the definition of what we're looking for? What is the definition of what we're looking for? Here we go. You have to search any place that you're concerned that chametz entered. Shulchan Aruch writes explicitly that any place that you don't ordinarily bring chametz does not need to be checked. I repeat, the only places that need to be searched are places that you ordinarily bring chametz. So, unless you ever climb a ladder, sit on your ceiling fan and have a sandwich there, your ceiling fan does not need to be cleaned for Pesach. Unless you ever pull out your refrigerator and sit behind it to eat a sandwich, you don't need to be moving a heavy appliance. Unless you ever go into the crawl space in your attic, unless you ever go into the storage in your garage, unless you ever go into these areas in order to have a sandwich or a cookie, they do not need to be searched. They do not need to be cleaned. So we just eliminated an enormous amount of things in your home. You should never be taking out a ladder to be cleaning for Pesach. If you're taking out a ladder, you're doing spring cleaning, you're not cleaning for Pesach. I repeat, if you're taking out a ladder, you are doing spring cleaning and you are not cleaning for Pesach. Shulchan Aruch, not me. Appliances that will not be accessed or used do not need to be cleaned or checked. They just need to be put away. So your bread maker, your blender, your food processor, your toaster, your sandwich maker. I just took half of your kitchen appliances, and I'm telling you, you don't need a toothbrush and you don't need a toothpick. You don't need anything. You do not need to clean them at all. Put them in a box, piece of tape. Your best friend on Pesach, the hero of Pesach, are the rolls of tape in your house. Tape. Tape is your best friend on Pesach. Take all those appliances, put them in a box, put a piece of tape. Put them in a closet, close the door, put a piece of tape. If you're not going to see it, you're not going to use it, then you don't need to clean it and you don't need to search it. So any area that you don't ordinarily go into, or any area that you don't plan on going into. So if there's sections of your home that you just want to close up, you just want to put a piece of tape, you can close off rooms and areas of your house, tape them up, and you don't need to clean them, and you don't even need to search them. You could just put them away. That's number one. Number two, the Shulchan Aruch. Hold on, the Shulchan Aruch says, any food that's not categorized as edible, and Shulchan Aruch writes, what's the definition of edible? Not roy lachilas kelev. A dog can't eat it, is not considered chametz. A food that's not categorized as edible is not. So there's no need to check for crumbs that are less than a kazayas if they're dirty or soiled in such a way that they're inedible even to a human. So if they're bigger than a kazayas but not edible to a dog, they're not chametz. If they're even less than a kazayas and inedible to a human being, they're not. So I don't know, anything under your stove or behind your refrigerator, I don't know any dog or human being that would eat any of it. It is not chametz, and it doesn't need to be searched, and it doesn't need to be destroyed. You should do bittul on it, relinquish ownership over it, and you're selling any area in the home that has chametz, so it's covered in that anyway. But this specific obligation of search and destroy does not apply to any area that you don't go with chametz. So crawl space, an attic, a ceiling fan, you should never be on a ladder, because you're never on a ladder to go eat your sandwich. You don't invite the family up the ladder to have lunch. So anything that requires a ladder, never pull out a ladder for Pesach. Tape, yes for Pesach. Ladder, no for Pesach. Toothbrush and toothpicks, no for Pesach. Spring cleaning, maybe, not Pesach. So practically speaking, any cabinet, closet, or room that will not be entered on Pesach can be closed with a piece of tape across the door. And any chametz that's in it is sold. Any kitchen cabinet, drawer, or cupboard that will not be used on Pesach doesn't need to be cleaned at all. So even the image of my youth, no offense, Mom, but taking all the dishes out, emptying all the silverware, wiping it all down, putting it all out, even before you're going to tape it, that's spring cleaning. You want to do spring cleaning in your kitchen? That's fantastic. Do it in a month from now. But you don't need to do it for Pesach. One of my favorite jobs on Pesach is walking around the kitchen with the cabinet. And I ask Yocheved, yes or no? I get thumbs up or thumbs down. Any cabinet we're not using for Pesach, tape. Nobody's emptying, lining, wiping, washing. You've just reduced your cleaning your house and your kitchen enormously. Enormously. Any area you're not entering, any area you never entered with chametz, any area you don't plan to access on Pesach, tape is your best friend. Just walk around with tape, cabinet, drawer, cupboard, anything that you're not going to go in on Pesach, just tape up and you're good to go. Any appliance, food processor, sandwich maker, mixer, bread machine that will not be used doesn't have to be cleaned. Put it away for Pesach in a sealed space. Sell whatever's in it with your chametz, and you are good to go. Do not do spring cleaning in the name of Pesach. So what do we need to do then? Halacha demands the following. We have to go room to room to confirm that there's no chametz that's larger than 30 grams, a kazayas, and edible. What we're looking for in every room is chametz that's more than 30 grams and edible. How long does it take to go through a room? And look, again, I don't know anyone who has a sandwich in the sweater drawer, the third drawer of their armoire. I don't know people who have cookies. If you do, and the Mishnah Berurah is careful to say that if children, then sometimes all bets are off, because children take and sneak and hide chametz everywhere in a home. But if they're not in your home, or you don't think they are, or the areas of the home that you know they didn't, that's not what we're looking for. So in my opinion, and I say this with a bulletproof vest on, this can be realistically accomplished in a few hours at most in almost all our homes. If you're spending days, weeks, or months cleaning your house for Pesach, you're not preparing for Pesach. And if it makes you worn down and exhausted and with a backache and anger and bitter and resentful, then you're doing spring cleaning and don't blame God or this wonderful holiday of Pesach. If you're climbing a ladder or on your hands and knees, if you have a toothbrush or a toothpick, if you're emptying and lining and turning over and schlepping and moving appliances and furniture, then you're doing spring cleaning, you're not preparing for Pesach. Preparing for Pesach can be done in a few hours, in a day, in a couple of days. Go home to home, open some drawers, move some clothing, look on cabinets, look on dressers, look on nightstands, 100%. I want to be very clear. First of all, this isn't me. Rav Scheinberg Zatzal had a whole sefer. He was one of the first to simplify Pesach in this way, understanding that our generation, our bubbies, past generations, they schwitzed, they killed themselves, they worked, they toiled. In our generation, where people are holding on, when our children are watching our attitude and our feeling for Pesach, we should follow the din. You want to go above and beyond because you have that in you and that brings you your joy? Be gesund, you're entitled, but that's not an expectation that's fair to place on others. That's not an expectation to live up to yourself if it's going to make you miserable. So this is the halacha. We're going room to room and we're looking around for chametz that's bigger than 30 grams and that's edible. Open dressers, we have to be careful. I spend more time almost on bedikas chametz at night than in cleaning for Pesach, because that was the original cleaning for Pesach. Bedikas chametz, Pesach, Erev Pesach night, should not be superficial. That's when we really need to go room to room and look around and ensure. And I spot check pockets of clothing, of suits and of pants, open svarim. That's when we open drawers and dressers. That's when we're looking and confirming that there's no chametz edible more than 30 grams that might be there. But this insane effort of months and days and weeks and backbreaking labor, that's not Pesach, it's spring cleaning. It's not what we're doing. Searching and preparing our home should take a few hours, a day and a half at most, if what we're doing is preparing for Pesach. Any questions about cleaning the house before we go to the kitchen together? That's cleaning the house. Good? Okay, that is the cleaning the house. Now let's go to the kitchen and preparing the kitchen together. We'll make our way through the kitchen and its appliances. Any questions you have, you'll feel free to interrupt. So again, even within the kitchen itself, there's an enormous amount that we've just saved by taping any cabinet, taping any pantry, taping any area that you're not going to go on Pesach, just tape up. What we do in our home is we designate what's going to be for Pesach, we empty it out and clean it, and everything else we tape. We take all the appliances off the counter, We put them in an area of the house, close the door, put a piece of tape, put them in a box, put a piece of tape. So all those appliances don't take enormous detailed work to clean. We put them away, tape it up, sell it with our chametz, do our bittul on it, and we are good to go. We are good to go. Okay, let's get to the kitchen. Let me just see if I missed anything in the cleaning. Any place in the house that's difficult to get to, you can spray with a chemical cleaner, and that's sufficient. Why does that help? Because it makes it inedible even to a dog. So any parts of the house that we sold don't need to be cleaned. Even parts, we have a second backup fridge, and that's where we put all the chametz, and then we tape a piece of plastic tablecloth across the cover of it, the front of it, and it's good to go. Even if you're going to still need a shelf in it, you leave that exposed and you clean that. The other area, you can put your chametz products and cover it, and you're good to go. Floors are mopped, carpets are vacuumed, but I hope that that's happening ordinarily in our homes regularly. If you're only doing that once a year for Pesach, we need to have another conversation. Furniture should be checked because there is a lot of chametz between pillows, under pillows. So furniture should be brushed clean, pillows should be moved. But again, I hope that happens regularly anyway. Otherwise, things are going to begin to grow in between your couches. So that needs to be happened. Clothing that's not going to be worn on Pesach doesn't need to be checked again. Children's toys. This also helps you clean your playroom. One of the most miserable things in a playroom. Play-Doh is chametz. You got to put it away. But let's say toys that are small and tiny and can have chametz mixed in. We have a big container. We put all the toys that are hard to clean in it, tape it, and your playroom's ready for Pesach. You want to know one of the most liberating and freeing things you can do for Pesach for your children or grandchildren? Leave out 3 toys instead of 3,000, and they'll have the best Pesach playing with them. We give too many choices, which actually takes away our freedom. And if you take away, you ever give a Hanukkah present and the kids had more fun with the box it came in than with the toy itself? We've complicated things. And that complication has taken away our freedom. So put away most of the toys. Tape it up, and your playroom is good to go instead of killing yourself in preparing it for it. The vacuum cleaner bag should be thrown out. Broom should be cleaned. Some buy new brooms. You don't need to buy a new broom. You could try to clean it out and then spray a caustic or chemical cleaner on it. Whatever stayed in your broom is no longer edible and is no longer a problem. Cars should be cleaned under and between the seats. If you can't reach it, spray it with a chemical cleaner, because again, there could be chametz that is edible in the car. A lot of people do eat on the road and on the way, so they can be a problem. Okay, that covers cleaning the house. Any questions cleaning the house? Cars? Yes?
Did you say that you have a freezer or a refrigerator that you put chametz in and close it off? Did you say that?
Yep.
So what do you define as chametz that you put in there that you can save? Like unopened boxes and like what would you say?
No, I mean refrigerated products. So we have a cabinet that have still other products that we just tape. And any refrigerated product, let's say ketchup and so on. So we'll put that. We happen to not sell chametz mamish, but all these mixtures, all the chametz dika refrigerator, the whole shelves of condiments and all the other things that are in the fridge go into the backup fridge with tablecloth, plastic tablecloth taped on the shelves that they're in. The rest of the fridge cleaned and usable, and the main fridge now entirely Pesach there. That's what we do. It's not one way to do it, but that's what we do. Okay, let's make our way through a kitchen.
Things in the refrigerator, they're not pure chametz, but they're chametz thicker.
They should be covered.
Just cover them up.
Cover them up, and you're good to go. Cover them up so you won't eat them or
Ketchup
access.
that have vinegar, and if you don't sell chametz, but you would sell that.
Yeah,
It's not real chametz.
yeah. So that you got to check the OU guide about what vinegar is not real chametz.
And plain flour is also not, correct?
Flour is not chametz gamor. Right. Contemporary milling production consists of a tempering process that renders flour only suffix chametz, and flour therefore can be included in the sale. That's the OU guide. So you can check what's real chametz and what's not
And
there.
one more thing, you keep saying about the appliances to take them, put them in a box and tape them. Why can't you just leave them in the cabinet there and tape the cabinet?
You can do that too.
Okay.
Yeah, ours are just mostly on the counter, and there's no room in cabinets for them.
Okay.
So the toaster and the sandwich maker and the blender and the ice cream maker and the smoothie maker and there's more appliances than people in my home these days. So yeah, we got to find a place to put them. Yes,
Countertop ice cube maker.
a countertop ice cube maker.
Is cleaning it enough?
Yeah, Yeah,
or-
cleaning is enough, just like the ice cube maker in your freezer is enough. Correct. There's no transfer of taste. There's no heat there, so cleaning it and making sure there's no chametz present.
Sometimes you reach into that in your hands, maybe chametz
Yeah, so that's why it's cleaning it. But there's no transfer of taste. There's no heat. So just cleaning it well, and you'll be good to go. The question was about a countertop ice cream maker, ice maker,
Ice maker.
ice cube countertop ice cube maker. You could just clean it well and let it defrost, which we'll get to in a moment with your freezer, because sometimes when they frost, it can frost with crumbs. So let it defrost, clean it well, and then you are good to go on it. Let's make our way through our kitchen. Yeah?
Sambar, the chametzik sambar, the hot water machine.
Yeah,
about
yeah.
the whole year.
Yeah. So that's,
I think last year, some said we could use it.
I didn't see anyone mention it. I could look it up. Is chametz made in it? Any of those
No,
meats?
No, the hot water thing. Like
I understand
have
that, so-
the shul in the front. A hot water machine.
Oh, I thought I was picturing a sous vide.
Or the Shabbos urn.
Oh, the Shabbos urn. We're gonna get to. We're gonna get to.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to. We're gonna get to. Let's go through the kitchen. And again, I can't strongly encourage you enough. We have incredible resources. The CRC is my primary one. They're all wonderful, but I start with the CRC. I very much appreciate the CRC. But the OU guide, the Star K guide, the Chav K guide, they've all done a wonderful job in simplifying and helping us. Let's go through from easiest and we'll work our way up to hardest. The refrigerator. Refrigerator should be cleaned well, including the hard to reach areas. The minhag is to line the shelves of the refrigerator, but it's not an obligation. So you don't have to do arts and crafts project of taping together the paper towels to make sure you covered every inch of the shelf. There's a minhag to line it. It should look different. It's Pesach. If that's hard to do, you're not even obligated to do it, but it should be emptied, the refrigerator, wiped well, sprayed well, cleaned very well before you use it for Pesach. Like I say, some have the minhag to line it. Even those who have the minhag to line it don't have to be super careful. Be careful what you line it with, because many refrigerators require the flow of air through it. Otherwise, you're going to make it break if it can't. So that is the refrigerator. What about the accordion rubber doors that seal the door when it closes? It should be cleaned. Some of it's hard to clean. Spray it with a caustic spray, and therefore whatever's in it is no longer edible, and that is a way to deal with it. Ice maker should be cleaned well. Otherwise, it shouldn't be used, but it should be cleaned well. That is the refrigerator. That is the refrigerator. No, try to clean it. Get what you can, and what you can't reach, just spray. Spray, and you are good to go. That is the refrigerator and the freezer. Freezer should be defrosted and cleaned well, and only then used again. But it should be defrosted.
Cover the freezer.
Again, there's a minhag to line. A person doesn't have to line to the extent, like I say, that you're doing an arts and crafts project. There's a minhag to put a piece of paper towel on each shelf to line it symbolically. Yes.
I just wanted to say, as an appliance repair person,
Oh,
if you have grates in your freezer, do not cover the grate.
yeah. The grates don't cover because the air
If you
needs
have a
to.
glass shelf, they're coverable. But if they're grates-
Good. Thank you. Thank you. That is the refrigerator. Cabinets, any cabinets going to use for Pesach, which I assume is the minority, very few in your kitchen, should be wiped down, emptied, wiped down, lined, and then you put lined symbolically. You've wiped it down. It's clean. What you're putting there is clean, but you line it symbolically with a paper towel. You don't need to be neurotic in making sure that every corner is covered of the cabinet. That's the refrigerator, freezer, and that is the cabinets of our kitchen. Countertops can be koshered. Countertops can be covered. Even kosherable countertops can be covered. In my kitchen, in our kitchen, I'm still covering them. Even though our new kitchen is now many, many, many years old, Yocheved panics at the thought of my spilling boiling water running down the cabinets and they're, distorting and destroying the cabinets. So we cover. I also grew up in a home where we covered the counter, and I happen to enjoy the kitchen has a different look for Pesach. For the days leading up, in those 8 days, it looks different. And then on Motzei Pesach, when you take the covers off, it's back to the every day, the rest of the year look of it. So there's an inyan to that, but whatever the person's personal practice and minhag of how to kasher. Which countertops can be kashered? So again, the Chav K guide, the OU guide, all have lists of which countertops can be kashered and which can't. We paskin formica can be kashered, but if it has cracks and crevices and scratches, then it can't. But if formica is kept well, even formica can be kashered. Many of the minhag of covering it. Certainly granite and most of the stone countertops can be kashered. The way it's kashered is the following. Tile and ceramic cannot be kashered, it has to be covered. Tin foil, aluminum foil is not enough to cover. You need something thicker, something that will constitute a real covering of it. And like everything else today, Judaism has become commercialized. You don't have to be creative and go to Home Depot or Lowe's yourself. You could go online. There's one called, I think, Decal or Decal with a K. There are rolls that you unroll, you cover your counter. They have a hechsher, so you can rely that they're thick enough to do. They're supposedly easy enough to apply and easy enough to peel off afterwards, and you fulfill covering your counter in a fairly easily disposable way. There are covers. But if you're going to kasher your counter, here's how you do it. You kasher with iroi kli rishon. Give me 1 minute on why we kasher, how we kasher. We're kashering because chametz was previously absorbed in, whether it's a pot and a pan, whether it's a counter, whether it's your grate of your oven or your stovetop, taste of chametz was absorbed. We have a principle called kibolo kach polta. The way it was absorbed is the way that it is purged. The way the chametz entered is the way that you get the chametz out. If it was absorbed through heat, it's removed through heat. Absorbed through steam, it's removed through steam. Absorbed through a liquid medium, it's removed through a liquid medium. So we have these different methods of kashering. We have what's called libun gamor. That is putting a fire at the highest heat. You're obliterating, you're burning any presence of a taste that was there. What's libun gamor in our kitchen? If we were to use a blowtorch, that would be libun gamor until it glows red. But in our kitchen, the example of libun gamor is if you run a self-clean oven. A self-clean oven gets so hot, if you don't believe me how hot it gets, put a wooden spoon in your self-clean oven, and when it's done, you'll find a pile of ash on the bottom. Self-clean oven gets that hot. That's libun gamor. We also use hagala. We'll have here, I think it's next Sunday. Is this Sunday or next Sunday? We have kashering. Next Sunday we have here. That's boiling big pots of water where you can put a utensil. Anything that absorbed through liquid is removed through liquid. We also use steam. We'll get to in a moment the microwave. So, iroi kli rishon, pouring boiling water. The only way taste was absorbed on your counter was something spilled. So the way we get it out is the way it got in. If the taste got in through spilling, we remove the taste through spilling. So that's principle number one, kabolo kach polto. The way it is absorbed is the way that it is purged. Principle number two is, we have a halacha that really taste is only powerful, potent. Taste only exists for 24 hours. After 24 hours, all taste is no sen tam of gam. All taste is putrid. All taste is no longer potent. All taste is no longer powerful. After 24 hours, every vessel is reset, essentially to be kosher. So you just wait 24 hours, what we call an Eino Ben Yomo. So therefore, when we kasher, we always clean well. We wait 24 hours, which biblically speaking resets it and restores it to its original status. And then we kasher. And then we kasher. We wait the 24 hours to employ another technique, which is we restore it to its original status by waiting the 24 hours. So when it comes to the countertop, clean them well. Wait 24 hours. The clock starts on 24 hours on the countertop. And then you clean it by boiling water. You can boil the water in either a Pesach pot or a non-Pesach pot, as long as the pot wasn't used for 24 hours. Then you take the water, use gloves, and you can't just splash on the counter that the water runs the length of the counter. You have to walk with the pot and pour as you go. And that way you're kashering every spot on the counter. That's how a counter is kashered. Cleaned well, left 24 hours, boil water till it's mala ababuos, till it's bubbling up. Be very careful and cautious. Wear closed-toe shoes, wear gloves, don't wear shorts. I've learned each of these the hard way. And don't spill the water, splash the water. You have to walk and pour the water as you go in order for it to constitute iroi kli rishon. It could be a pot, chametz or non-chametz. It just has to not be used in 24 hours. And the water has to be heating till it's not just that it's hot. It has to be, this is an onomatopoeia, mala ababuos. Ababuos sounds like bubbles. Till it's mala ababuos, till the water is boiling. That's how hot it has to be before you pour the water on the counter. And again, if you want to know whether your counter is eligible to be kashered or needs to be covered, you can look at any of these guides. They all have lists of different types of counter. Every year when you think we've exhausted what a counter can be made out of, the next year they come up with a new material to make a countertop. So I don't know, somebody's working hard on that in some laboratory. Can you use a steamer? Can you use a steamer is a question that comes up every year. Steamer is not valid for kashering unless two things. The steam has to come out when it hits the countertop. It has to be water, not steam. It has to condense. And it has to condense that it's yad soledispo. It still has to be the temperature that is required for heating. Most steamers do not do that. The average steamer that you're going to buy at Bed Bath & Beyond that's going to help your clothing not be wrinkled does not meet those two criteria. There are steamers that do. The CRC on its guide has a steamer that you could buy on Amazon that is an industrial, commercial type of steamer that does. And then you'd be able to heat and then walk every inch of your counter and sink and kasher with the steam, because you're not really kashering with steam, you're kashering with water. When the steam comes out, it condenses to water at a temperature that meets the criteria of kashering. So not just any steamer can be used. It would have to be a specific steamer that meets those criteria, and that is an alternative. So when it comes to countertops, you can either cover them, or you could directly rishon, you could walk and splash onto them, or you could use only an eligible steamer. And the same is true when it comes to sinks. When you have a metal sink, stainless steel sink, that's eligible to be kashered. Clean it very well, including the drain, the garbage disposal, the faucet, the filter underneath the faucet. Clean it very well. Leave it 24 hours. Leave it 24 hours. My wife takes big masking tape and makes an X over the sink. Faucet, everything. Make sure that no one makes a mistake. Leave it 24 hours, and then boil water. Again, chametz or Pesach pot, it hasn't been used in 24 hours. Splash it over the entire surface of the sink. If you have a sink extension that pulls down, pull it out. You need an assistant wearing gloves. Pull it out, pour it over that as well. Turn it over. You're pouring over the filter where it comes out of the faucet of the sink as well, and that's how you kasher. If a person has a porcelain sink, it cannot be kasher. You need a sink insert, a basin with a hole in the bottom that'll be an insert for Pesach within the sink. Those are countertops and those are sinks. Stuart.
Countertop, sometimes there's areas that you can't get to the top.
Yeah, so you get as close as you can and try to get into that corner. If it's hard for you to get to, then it was also probably hard for you to absorb chametz in that place too. So clean counter as well. Don't use hot food for 24 hours. Make sure the surface is dry. Pour boiling water over the entire counter. Make sure every spot gets hit from the water from the initial pour, and that is how you can kasher the counter. Questions, counters, and sinks? Good. Let's go to microwaves. The glass tray needs to be removed. Ashkenaz and Paskin, we can't kasher glass for Pesach, so the glass tray needs to be removed. I saw in the OU guide this year that for the first time, we've always had a glass door on the microwave. Every microwave has a glass door. You got to see inside. For the first time I saw this year, the OU says you should tape cardboard to the inside of the glass door of the microwave since we can't kasher glass. I don't think you need to do that. If every other year we didn't need to do that, you don't need to do that this year either. I confirmed with a kashrus professional this morning. The other guides do not include that, including the CRC. So that is not a stringency that I think that we have to have. So you clean the microwave well. Don't use it for 24 hours. Take out the glass tray. Take something microwave safe to boil water. The walls of the microwave absorb taste through steam. The way we get chametz out of the walls of the microwave is through steam. So we have to do it twice. Why do you have to do it twice? Such a machmir chumrah? No. You do it twice because you have to kasher the whole microwave, and then you have to kasher the spot where the cup was the first time you kashered. So move it over and then run it again until the water produces steam, 12 minutes, 15 minutes, until whatever you cleaned is enough that the water boils up and produces steam. Take out the glass tray. Some people buy a second tray for Pesach. You could check the model of your microwave and then go online and order a second tray for Pesach. Or I'll tell you a little secret. Your microwave also works if there's no tray revolving inside of it. You could live without the glass tray for Pesach. That is the microwave. What about a microwave convection oven? Some people have a microwave convection oven. It can be kasher. It's complicated. You kasher it the same way as the oven part, not the microwave part. So it's cleaned well, and then you run it on the highest setting for an hour. That is the way it's kasher, and the glass has to be removed. Yes?
The cup that you use to boil the water, does it matter if it's a piece of dish?
Yeah, we use styrofoam or a paper bowl, something that's microwave safe that you can put in there. We use a disposable one. That's what I recommend. Okay, we did refrigerators, freezers.
There's a metal tray also.
So that's like the metal.
And a metal tray.
So the metal tray in the convection
Yeah.
is kashered like an oven.
And same with the racks.
Yeah.
You just leave it in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which we might as well go straight to ovens then. We'll go to ovens. If you have a self-clean oven, you don't have to wait 24 hours, and you don't even have to clean it because you're doing libun gomor on it. So you clean it usually afterwards because you find all the residue from what was burned out in it. But you run the self-clean cycle. Every year I get a question. My self-clean didn't run all the way to the end. Is it still good? Is it still good? So yes, if it hit the highest temperature for a period of time, it is still considered to be kasher. A non-self-cleaning oven should be cleaned very well, left for 24 hours, and turned on the highest setting for an hour. Good. That is the oven. Microwave ovens, convection ovens, and ovens. Yes.
Toaster oven.
Toaster oven can't be kosher.
No.
Put it away. Pesach, get a Pesach toast. Toaster ovens can't be kosher. Toaster ovens are too small and too much chametz, and we can't effectively
You
kosher.
mentioned anything about cleaning the sink. Just hot water?
How to kosher the sink?
Yeah.
The same way as the counter. You boil water and you pour it over the whole surface
Right.
area of the sink. What about a warming drawer?
Oven, you shouldn't worry about that.
Don't worry about
Say
that.
it's not
Correct. Correct. Don't worry about
Just
it.
move on.
Move on. Move on. Warming drawers. Most say you can't kosher. The CR says you can. You could kosher a warming drawer by the warming drawer doesn't get to the temperature you need to kosher it. So the way to get it to that temperature is with a sterno. CRC says buy a sterno or two, put it inside, light it, leave the door a little bit ajar because air needs to circulate,
Or you're gonna blow it.
or you're going to blow it. So put the sterno inside the warming drawer, open the door a little bit, let the sterno burn out, and then your warming drawer is now, of course, you have to clean it well, leave it 24 hours, and then put the sterno in it, and you can kosher it in that.
The Docora, the one who I would not recommend
Which one?
doing.
Decor warming drawer?
Yeah, it will destroy the whole.
Okay, you heard it here. Decor warming drawer, don't try it on. The decor warming drawer, don't try it on. But other ones you can. What didn't we cover in the kitchen? Oh, the stovetop. There's a reason we didn't. I hate the stovetop conversation. Okay, if you have a gas stovetop, then you need to kosher each burner by leaving each burner on high, cover all the area in between, and cover the knobs. Fairly simple, fairly straightforward. The stovetops of our youth. Then you move to Florida where they have electric stovetops. Electric stovetop, leave each burner on high till it glows, cover the metal area in between. Then in Florida, we got to the glass top cooktops, which over the years has evolved how to kosher it. You leave each burner on high until it glows red. I believe you should pour boiling water, not while it's glowing red, but across the surface. And then the most important part is be careful not to put anything on the glass in between the burners. So if you have a pot whose circumference is bigger than a burner, and therefore it goes into the area in between, that's okay. But if you're putting a spoon or a cover or something down, don't put it on the area in between the burners. Again, because Ashkenaz and Paskin, you can't really kosher glass, we're relying on koshering on the glass over the burner, but the area in between we're not, so don't put anything down in between. Yes?
You're saying on the knobs, when you turn on the gas, have to be foiled?
Yes. Cover the knobs. Or, in my home, we kosher the knobs, but just know that good chance you're going to ruin them.
How do you caution?
You boil water and you put them in boiling water. So clean them well. Don't use 24 hours. The knobs itself you can put in boiling water. But if you have any, let's say, label, often you have a label high, medium, low on the knobs. If you put them in boiling water, they'll melt or they'll peel off. So if you don't want to ruin your knobs, cover them instead of putting them in boiling water. Or buy Pesach new ones. Yeah.
You don't want to turn them on?
Glass cooktops, we have touch sensitive buttons.
Yes.
Should you cover it with like a piece of plastic or something?
I don't think so. You clean it well. The touch sensitive buttons. I don't think once you wipe it down, it's not like the knob that the chametz could get in.
Pick something up when you can.
You clean it, spray it with a caustic spray that doesn't absorb a flavor or taste. It's not hot, otherwise you won't be able to be touching those numbers. Yeah.
I'm sorry, did
Deborah.
you say about turning the gas stoves on for how long?
The
And at what temperature?
gas stove's on high. They're going to burn out the grate above it and kosher it. I think each one for 15 minutes.
15?
Yeah.
One time.
Yeah. Yeah, don't do them all at once. Alternate doing them. Tables should be covered. And what we do is we tape a covering and then we put a tablecloth that we continue to change on top of that. So it's essentially a double covering all the time. The primary covering that you taped over the table and then the tablecloth you put on top of it. Cloth tablecloths, just by laundering them, are kosher for Pesach, but vinyl tablecloths need to be changed. You can't use a chametz stick vinyl tablecloth cannot be used. A fabric one can be by running it through the washing machine. Towels, same thing. If it's a towel, you could run it through the washing machine, and it's now kosher for Pesach. Coffee makers and Keurig machines and urns. Some say preferably should not be koshered, but there are ways. The OU says a Keurig can be koshered. Clean it well, leave it for 24 hours. Take the cake cup holder out and put it in boiling water, and then run a kosher for Pesach cup through the Keurig, and that koshers it for Pesach. That's the OU's guidance on how to kosher a Keurig for Pesach. Hot water urn, it depends. Did you use it for oatmeal during the year? Did you use it for chametz? Did you wash it with vinegar? Then better not to use it. If you didn't, then it might be good even without koshering. You can kosher a hot water urn by filling it with water, and by cleaning it well, leaving 24 hours, fill it with water, and plug it in, and pouring boiling water over the spout of the hot water urn. That's for the old-fashioned one with the spout. If you have the fancy insulated pump, if you didn't use it or clean it with chametz all year round, it's okay.
I do use it, like I use it for oatmeal in the morning.
Then it's a problem.
Like
Then get a Pesach
so
one.
can I kosher it? I usually do have a Pesach one, but this year for.
Yeah, better. So better to get a Pesach one. Yeah,
How about a hot water kettle?
a hot water kettle on the stovetop.
Plug in and you're using it during the year for your coffee.
Do you use it for oatmeal and chametz and non-kosher? I'd get a second one for Pesach. I would recommend. Okay, what did we not cover in the kitchen? Pots and pans, most of them could not get koshered. A lot of them are attached, screwed, have cracks and crevices. So most people have second sets of Pesach dishes. If there's a silverware you want to kosher, bechers, again, we have koshering here, or you could do it at home. Take a pot, Pesach or not, that hasn't been used in 24 hours, boil water till it's mala ababuos. Koshering should be done one utensil at a time because you need shishim in the water against the utensil. When you take it out, the minhag is to put it in cold water immediately. And that's the way koshering is done at home. I'm being asked online about induction stovetops. Induction stovetops cannot be koshered. The only way to use it on Pesach is with a cover. They make a covering, like fabric, special induction stovetop covering, that you put the pot on top of that cover. That's the only way to do it with a induction stovetop.
Can you use like a hot water dispenser?
The hot water dispenser, you should pour boiling water over the spout of it, and then it can be used. Yeah. Okay, anything we didn't cover?
Espresso, the same as Keurig?
Yeah.
One thing,
Yes,
inside the garbage disposal, it's rubber. It's a rubber.
correct. So we paskin that hard plastic and rubber can be koshered in boiling water, so that would be okay. Most of the guides say that the filter at the bottom of the sink you should take out for Pesach and not use. It's very small. It's very hard to get in. So those are those tiny filters. A crock pot can't be koshered. Food processor mixer can't be koshered. George Foreman grills can't be koshered. Dishwasher. Oh, I was hoping nobody would ask dishwashers. Yeah, dishwashers. All the guides say that, ask your local rabbi. Dishwashers are very complicated to kosher. They have a lot of cracks and crevices and tubes and holes and spigots and spouts, and dishwashers are very, very complicated. There are poskim who allow you to kosher a dishwasher by cleaning the filter at the bottom, every part of it super well, making sure there's no rust anywhere on it or cracks or crevices in it, leaving it for 24 hours, and then running it 3 consecutive cycles. So there are poskim who allow not only a stainless steel dishwasher, because we kosher plastic, even plastic, if you do it in that. I recommend against it. It is very complicated, and most recommend against it. So again, there are what to rely upon. There are upon whom to rely, but it's recommended against by most. Yes, Ethan.
What about using the dishwasher like a rack to dry? You're not washing anything.
Yeah.
You clean it out totally, run it through.
Then you could. Yeah.
and
So
then just
question was
use it
using
to
a
dry.
dishwasher for the racks to dry. So if you cleaned it well and you did the method I just described, and then while it's cold, you use it as a place to put your dishes to dry, technically it would be permissible. Yeah. High chairs cleaned and sprayed extremely well. The tray of the high chair should be covered. And yeah, I think that covers the kitchen. Anything else in the kitchen? Okay. Very good. Which brings us to products. Let's go to medicines and cosmetics, and then we'll talk about some general products. Are there any questions that anybody has about products? Every year the CRC reprints its same letter, signed, co-signed, admirably, accurately, by a great poskim in the Chicago area, Rav Yonah Rees, Rav Shmuel First, Rav David Zucker, and they write the following. All pill or non-chewable tablet medication with or without chametz that one swallows is permitted. So I repeat that. If you take a medicine that's in a pill form, it's not food. It's not eligible to be chametz, and therefore you should continue to take it and swallow it. All pills that are medicines. Vitamins are not medicines. Vitamins you'd need to confirm. Occasionally there's a vitamin that your doctor essentially prescribes you to take as a medicine. It's so meaningful to you, you need it. But most vitamins, first of all, you could live without for 8 days, but most vitamins are not a medicine. Even though it's a pill, it would need to be kosher for Pesach. Vitamins and supplements would need to consult to make sure that it's kosher for Pesach, that it doesn't have chametz. But any pill that you take, you don't have to look into or look up. If it's a pill that's medicine, then it is not eligible to be chametz, and therefore it's permissible. Gel caps,
Flavored,
what?
even if it's flavored,
Flavored pills?
yeah, like, apple stuff.
So that's right. That's gel caps, hard and soft, do not pose a chametz concern, but they have other kashrus concerns with them, so you need to make sure. Advil has a kitnios question to it, so you need to look up what you're taking, or if you take it and just swallow it without tasting it. Liquid and chewable medications may contain chametz. You need to look up. So if it's a medical pill, not if it's a prescribed medicine, a pill, then it is by definition not chametz, and you can take it. If it's a vitamin, a supplement, or something like Advil, then you need to confirm it's eligible, and there are lists that you can access. Liquid or chewable, you need to make sure. When it comes to cosmetics and toiletries, this is very important to know. Anything that's inedible, it doesn't matter if chametz is in its ingredient. So, all varieties of blush, body soap, conditioner, creams, eyeshadow, eyeliner, foundation, ink, lotions, mascara, nail polish, ointments, paint, shampoo, stick deodorant, they're all permissible on Pesach, regardless of the ingredients on them. You could have a huge percentage of the ingredient be chametz, it doesn't matter, it's not edible. Shampoo is inedible. But many varieties of cologne, liquid deodorants, hairspray, mousse, perfume, shaving lotion, sunscreen, and wipes, they have something called denatured alcohol. Denatured alcohol is potentially edible, and therefore should only be used on Pesach if they do not contain alcohol, or the alcohol is known to be free of chametz. So cologne, liquid deodorant, hairspray, mousse, shaving lotion, spray, sunscreen, those you do need to make sure are permissible for you to be able to use. Lipstick, mouthwash, toothpaste, which contain chametz, CRC says should not be used. The OU has on its list, here you get to one of the differences between, on its wonderful many amazing pages of lists. At the end, the OU has a list on page 105. The consensus of OU poskim is that the following may be used on Pesach without certification. And it has on its list all deodorants, lipsticks, cosmetics with the exception maybe of lipsticks. So here you have shaving lotion, shaving cream, shampoos. It agrees with. OU also has on this list, because I'm asked every year, by the way, paper towels, napkins, cups, paper, plastic, or styrofoam, all aluminum foil, baking pans. All of this the OU holds is fine without a hechsher. Plastic containers, plates, paper, plastic, or styrofoam, scouring pads and powders, all suntan lotion, it says, toilet bowl cleaner, water filters, candles, cardboard, carpet cleaners, body wash. Enjoy this list. Go to
My
town.
understanding is that paper towel rolls, we usually don't use the first two and the last two.
Yeah, the OU is not worried about that, because the kitnios they think that they use as the glue. The OU is not worried about that. If you want to be strict, you can tear off the first and last one. OU has oral hygiene and flavored lipstick, lip balm. Rabbinic authorities disagree as to whether certification of these items is required. Consult your rabbi. Please see product pages in the Passover guide for the OU certified toothpaste. So there is OU certified toothpaste. Most years, I didn't look carefully yet this year, most of them, Crest, Colgate, and Sensodyne, most of them are okay. Just confirm that your products are on the list. Which version of your product is on the list, you have to confirm that it's there.
The LA Colel this year said no Sensodyne.
Okay, that's LA Colo. You can look on the Star K list, the OU list, the CRC list. Those are the lists that I highly recommend. Okay, someone else is asking about the kitchen. Does the dishwasher need to be idle? Yes. If you are relying on kashering the dishwasher in that method, it does need to be cleaned well, sit for 24 hours before running it for 3 cycles. Okay, that's cosmetics and medicines and lotions. Again, if you have a specific question and you've used and exhausted all those lists and did not
I think
find.
you said about toothpaste.
Yeah, so it's a machlokas whether you need to even confirm if your toothpaste is on a list. Some hold all toothpaste is inedible, therefore it's okay. Others say you should confirm that your toothpaste doesn't contain chametz. If you need help looking up your toothpaste, let me know.
They're all flavored.
Yeah, but so tell me which toothpaste you use. Not now. You can send me an email. Let me know. I'm happy to look it up for you about. Any other questions about cosmetics, medicines, products? The COR put out a great image of things that you could get at Costco that don't need kosher for Pesach certification. I don't know if you saw that image. I'll tell you some of those things, or you could just find it online if you look for it. Baruch Hashem, we live in a remarkable time that's made Pesach so much easier, and we should be so grateful for that. Costco.
There's one for Trader Joe's also.
One for Trader Joe's? I don't think I saw the Trader Joe's one.
Yeah, they said we can use a plain olive oil, right? The Trader Joe's olive oil and.
Trader Joe's olive oil. Okay. Yeah, nuts is always a big question. Here it is. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the Costco list. Costco list. It's hard to read. Okay, you can look it up. The COR put a 2026 Costco list of all these products that are good that are automatically kosher Pesach. It's enormously helpful when you do your shopping.
We probably move it up in chat.
Wrong chat. Yeah. By the way, I'll highly recommend the following. Our wonderful, wonderful ORB has a chat where people ask endless questions all day long. You might have archived that chat in the past, but you could also search it. So before you ask a new question on it, if you search in the chat, you could search whether someone's asked it, and you'll find almost any question to almost any topic in that chat. So you could go on the ORB chat, which is in real-time Pesach questions. It's around the whole year also. People put kosher questions in there, and it's incredibly, incredibly helpful. Okay. Any other questions? Yes.
I have a formula question. 2 granddaughters are coming, they're bringing baby formula.
Yes.
They can have it. When they clean the bottles, can they clean the bottles in my sink?
They should clean the bottles in a sink in your laundry room or bathroom. If people are using bottles with formula for children that have kitnios in them, preferably they should clean it in a bathroom sink or the laundry room sink or a different sink. There are lists of which formulas. We got lists of everything. Thank you for coming. I want to wish everyone a Chag Kosher B'Sameach. I want to wish everyone a Freilich and Pesach. They say we get it backwards. Purim should be Kosher B'Sameach, and Pesach should be a Freilich and Pesach. So we should all be zocha to do a hachana, to be mindful and present for the hachana that we do in a way that elevates us all, in a way which brings us the simcha of Yontif the way it is meant to be experienced. Don't forget tonight.